Hey guys, good morning. So welcome to iMake IT.
Yeah, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, are you able to see my screen, right, guys?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
sir.
morning.
Yeah. So hey, good morning. So welcome to iMake IT. One second, guys. So hi guys, welcome to iMake IT. Myself, Hari Cheriko. I'm a DevOps consultant and solution architect with 12 plus years of industry experience as a real-time trainer. So I'm a DevOps with AWS guy. So I'm a ITL certified engineer and Red Hat system certified engineer, and I'm a Red Hat certified engineer. I'm a AWS solution architect certified, and I'm a CKA certified also, guys. So certified Kubernetes administrator also. Yeah, guys. Give me just a brief introduction about yourself. Just a sweet and short. So now your name and the qualification, and are you working or not?
Hi, bro. Myself, Chaitanya.
Yeah, Chetu. Morning.
Yeah. I completed my graduation.
Okay.
That was so long back ago.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I'm not working, and I have zero knowledge on DevOps or AWS. But
Okay.
I'm interested to learn.
Oh,
Yeah.
super. Super.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Rajesh.
Hi, Hari. Good
Hi.
morning. My name
Morning.
is Rajesh.
Okay.
I completed my Master of Computer Applications in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a Python,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm looking to convert into data analyst, and I'm on the process. But I want to take a chance to see the how the DevOps and AWS how it's working is going
Okay.
to be work with me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Yes. Yashwant.
Yes, sir. My name is Yashwant. Had been completed my graduation in BSc,
Okay.
and I'm interested to join with iMac IT.
Okay.
Yeah, so I took DevOps with AWS, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So what do Uday? Yeah. Guys, in this course, what we will discuss? Okay, in this course, what we will discuss, DevOps full course, guys, something like modules, DevOps overview, version control using Git, GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket also we will discuss. So continuous integration using Jenkins and containerization using Docker, Kubernetes installation. So what is Kubernetes and why Kubernetes, Ansible, Puppet, continuous monitoring using Nagios, and so we will give you a overview of a Ansible, Puppet, and Chef, guys. So we will learn in this course Ansible and continuous monitoring using Nagios, and we will discuss about the ELK, Elastic Logstash and Kibana, guys. For this monitoring, application monitoring and server monitoring, Datadog also we will show you to guys, and Prometheus, Splunk, how it is working, we will show you to guys. So overview of DevOps, guys. What is DevOps? So does anyone knows what is DevOps?
Developments and operations.
Yeah. So yes, guys, development and operation team. So very good. So in this course, what we will discuss about the initially a Linux, guys. What we will discuss? So we will discuss the initially a Linux, then we will move to the AWS. So then we will move to the DevOps tools, guys. So what is that? DevOps, DevOps tools. So in Linux, so for example, so what is a DevOps, guys, and why a DevOps? So what is DevOps and why DevOps? So what is the use of a DevOps? So what is the use of a DevOps, guys? So Yeah, so we'll discuss about in the Linux, guys, something like a, so what is a OS and types of OS and what is DC, guys. DC means data center, and basics of basic commands of Linux, guys. So basic commands of a Linux, guys, will tell you what is DevOps and what DevOps. Just I will give you the brief intro about something like what we will gonna cover you on this course, guys. Basic commands and file permissions and disk partitions and package management. So package management and so any of the web server installation like Apache and the Tomcat, guys. So we will show you the application, any of the application and deployment. So we will gonna cover you on this OS on this Linux this part, guys, and we'll cover you the AWS a few services. So like EC2, S3, and VPC, RDS, and ECS, EKS, and IAM, and so we will cover you, guys. We will cover you a few of the most important services and DevOps tools. I already told you, right, guys? The tools are what is a DevOps and why DevOps, and we're gonna cover you the tools like Terraform and Git. So we can use, so we can tell you the Git like Git. So we're gonna cover you Git. Git. So we will gonna cover you GitHub and GitLab and Bitbucket, Bitbucket, and we'll show you the Azure repo and the AWS AWS repository, guys. So and we will gonna cover you. So we will gonna cover you on so Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, guys. They will call it as a K8s. So Kubernetes, mm, Jenkins. So Jenkins is for CI/CD, guys. CD will cover you on the for the GitLab and GitHub, GitLab CI/CD. Will show you how it works, guys. GitLab CI/CD and GitHub Actions, GitHub Actions, and two real-time projects, guys. So we will gonna cover your real-time projects. So one is through Jenkins CI/CD, on Jenkins as CI/CD. The other one is GitLab, GitLab CI/CD, guys. So we will gonna cover you this course. So I will give you the content, but so for the layman, so we will gonna cover you these topics, guys. In our course, we will cover you the Linux, AWS, and the DevOps tool. So here we will cover we will cover the real time environments, guys. real-time environments. So we're gonna cover you the real-time environments like so what is production and what is non-production. Non-prod and prod. So we will gonna cover you on this course that's AWS DevOps. This is guys. Yeah. Now start. So what is DevOps? Why DevOps? First of all, what is a DevOps, guys? So a big question. So what is a DevOps, guys? So what is a DevOps? So what is DevOps and why DevOps? Why DevOps? You guys understood? So what is a DevOps and why DevOps? Guys, does anyone knows what is DevOps? Chaitu or someone said like one meaning, right?
Yeah,
DevOps meaning.
development and operations.
Yeah. So very good. So DevOps means a development and operations. Yeah. So does anyone knows what is DevOps? Guys, does anyone know? So what is DevOps? Yeah, I will tell you guys. I will tell you and no worries. So why DevOps? So when it was popular, so why we are using a DevOps? So guys, so this is a web browser, guys. What is this? This is a web browser. So web browser. So here I am searching here I'm searching so https colon double slash www.facebook.com. So guys, what it is? So what this is the URL, right? So what it is? So in the browser called a Google Chrome. What is that? Google Chrome. The Google Chrome, Mozilla, or whatever it may be. I searched the www.facebook.com. So when you search the www.facebook.com, so what comes in the a web browser, guys? It comes in the a website, right? So web page, index page. So what it comes? It comes the a web page, index page, website, index page. So for example, guys. So www.facebook. Yeah. So it's coming a index page, guys. It's coming a index page or a main page of the Facebook. So whenever you give the username password for this Facebook, it automatically log into your Facebook account and the profile. So this is the one page and the other page. So will comes once you logged into the web page. So how it comes from, where it comes from, that web page, where it comes from. For example, it is coming from internet, right? Does anyone knows where it comes from, guys?
No, bro, no idea.
No idea, right? So it's come from one of the a server. For example, so this is the a Facebook. This is the a facebook.com or server, guys. So this is the a Facebook server. In this Facebook, so we need to install the any of the OS, guys. For example, a Linux OS. So Linux OS is installed on this machine, and so any web server, any a web server. For example, web server. So for example, Tomcat guys. So Tomcat is installed on this mission. So Tomcat is installed on this mission, and the whatever the developers develop that code, whatever the developers develop the code. So develop the code. The code is something like so this is the developers developing the code guys on their missions, and they keep it in the somewhere else guys. That is nothing but a repository guys. So where they code, they store it in the one of the repository guys, one of the repository. So this repository is, for example, git repository guys. So what is this? A git repository. So where they are storing their code, they are storing in the they're storing their code in the git repository, the git repository. So once the code is in the git repository guys. So what is that code? They created a Java, for example, Facebook dot Java. Some of the programs are created in in this this repository guys. So we want to convert this dot Java to dot var or dot jar. So Tomcat is web server, right? Web server knows only a dot jar or dot var of files, guys. Dot jar or dot files. But the developer develop the code programs in the dot Java, right? So we need to convert this in the dot var to dot jar. We need to use one of the build tool called as a Maven build tool, and they converted from dot Java to dot var or dot jar files, guys. So dot var or dot jar. Once a dot var or dot jar converted, then so deployed in the we deployed in the server called as a web server, guys. We deployed in the a server called as a web server. So where they deployed the Facebook code, guys, they deployed in the web server. So once you hit the URL in the web browser, so over the internet, it searches the where the a website code is deployed on the server. Where website code is deployed in the server. For example, this is the Facebook server. In this Facebook server, they deployed the code like as a Facebook dot or 1.0 dot var or jar file, guys. So once you search in the web browser, so it comes from the web server. It comes from the web server. So who deployed on the web server? 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 Operations engineer, guide. Who deployed on the web server? Operations engineer. So operation engineer. Who is the operation engineer, guys? So for example, a Linux engineer. Linux engineer. Why? So the deployment. So once we build the var or jar file in the developer. So developer doesn't have the access to the Linux machines, guys. Production Linux machines because of developer. So what is the role of the developer, guys? Developer developing the code, right? Developer developing the code, but how to operate the Linux machines, where our application is deployed. Our application is deployed on the Linux machine, but who knows the Linux machine or OS? Who knows the Linux machine operating system? The Linux engineer knows the Linux machine operating system. Linux engineer knows the how to operate the Linux machines, Linux OS. So that is the reason the operations team means either Linux engineer array. So if you deployed our application in the Windows machine, guys, so who knows the Windows operating system? So Windows engineers knows the Windows operating system. Those people call it as a operations engineer. For example, Linux engineer knows the how to manage the Linux, how to manage the OS. That's the reason Linux engineer will deploy the a code, whatever the developer develop that code and build that code where or jar, that will be deployed by the operations engineer. Operations engineers mean, for example, in our cases, a Linux engineer is the operations engineer. So who will build this code? Who will deploy? Who will create and who will build this code? This code will be the developers. So developers. So before a developers are developing the code and build the code, build integration. Building means integration. So who integrates the code? Developer manually integrates the code, guys. So guys, here I. So what is this, guys? I. So and who will deploy our application? Linux engineer. Deployment. So deployment D. So here D. Here I. So I means integration, D means deployment. So the starting in 1990s, so before 2015, so all the applications will be deployed through manually, through manually, without automation, guys. There is no automation, so everything will be deployed with through the manually. So the deployment part will be taken care by the Linux engineers, and the integration part will be taken care by the development team. So development team, so something like before there is no. So which model, guys? So which model is using for the software development life cycle? So which model is using the software development life cycle, guys? So does anyone knows, guys, what is SDLC? Guys, does anyone knows what is SDLC?
Software development life cycle.
Yeah. So what it means? Software development life cycle.
We'll release the code in a step-by-step process, like a
Will re-
sprint by sprint.
Yeah. So for example, guys. So I have a thought, guys. I have a thought called it as a. So message. So I have a thought called as a message. So something like, right, before WhatsApp, before a WhatsApp. So how the messages are going? Something like through the try something like that mobile SIM cards, right? Airtel, Vodafone, whatever it may be, guys. They will charge the per SMS, and so we don't know the how if the message is sent or not, the recipient is receiving or not, and the message size is 300 characters. And then they're charging the 1 rupee per the a message. For example, guys, I have a thought. I want to create a application for the messaging purpose. So application for the messaging purpose. Then I took the SDLC model. So you guys are also know, right? SDLC. So what is the SDLC process? A software a development life cycle. In the software development life cycle, so initially what they are approaching the model, which model they are approaching, guys? They are approaching the a waterfall a model. So waterfall model, guys. So what is a waterfall model, and what it is the SDLC, for example, guys? So one second. The first stage is analysis. The second stage is something like a plan. The second stage is nothing but a plan. The start stage is nothing but a design. nothing but a design. The fourth stage is nothing but a build. Build. And the fifth stage, a test. Text. And the last stage is a deploy. Last stage is, guys, deployment. Yeah. So this is the SDLC process, right, guys? So the software a development life cycle. So if you want to develop a application or a software or a website, so you need to follow this SDLC process. So first analyze. Yeah, you took the analyze and everything, something like a 3,000 messages or 100 messages. So we don't know the how to the recipient are receiving the messages or not, and the message size is 300 characters. And right, so I have a thought like I want to create a application for the messaging purpose. So I got the analysis and everything. So then I started the planning. So planning means so this is the we don't know if it is working or not, it will work or not, I don't know. So I took the in the planning stage, I took the I took the how we can build this application. Something like I'm using the Java language because of it's a open source, and using the Linux. Linux it's a open source. Linux OS or CentOS or whatever it may be, guys. So Linux OS and a web server, something like a Tomcat web server, and and we can use the infra. Which infra we can use? Either we can use AWS or data centers. Which infra we can use? So we can use it which infra. So this is the a basic need for the a plan, guys. And the design, in the design stage, what it gonna be, something like a the page, the front end, something like this is the front end. This front end is for the WhatsApp, guys. Initially WhatsApp starts with chats, chat, and the second only two modules we have a contacts. For example, guys, this is the page, the WhatsApp page will gonna show you something like this is the design part, guys. And the build part, so the two developers are working on this build part, and they took the two modules, right? They took one module and create the and uh, and develop the code, and push it into the repository. So push it into the repository, and they can build the something like a dot var or dot jar. The killed I already told you, right? So they push it to the code to the repository, and they integrate the code. Integration means converting the dot java to dot var or dot jar, guys. So this is the repository. So once they test it in the development environment, they test it in the development infra. This is the dev infra, guys. The dev infra, so they whatever they deployed code, right, they test it in the development environment. So once it is good, so they will move it to the testing environment, guys. So testing means integration, sat, uat, whatever it may be, guys. So in the testers test the applications. So testers test the applications. Once they say then sign off, they will directly deploy to the production environment, guys. Which environment? Prod environment. So in the prod environment, who will deploy the application, guys? Operations engineer. Who is the operations engineer? So operations engineers. So we deploy this code in which infra we are using. So Linux OS we are using. We need a Linux engineer to deploy the applications. Yeah. So Linux engineer for deploying the application. D deployment. So deployments means a development engineer. So here, so WhatsApp 1.0.jar. So WhatsApp 1.0.jar. So this is the integration part, guys. So build tool, there is the a build tool, and they deploy the code. they convert the code a .jar or .var, guys. So this is the code. So the development team tested in their missions, so it is working fine. And so that Linux engineers deployed in the production code and the production environment. They said like, so there is a issue with the infra. So we need a in the waterfall model. If you want to produce a one application or website, so it will take 6 months, 6 months to 6 months. It will take 6 months for applying a new application, guys. In the analysis stage, planning, everything will be sequential manner, guys. Everything will be sequential manner. There is no automation in the waterfall model. So design, once the developer build the code with manually in the Maven tool, and once they build, the Linux engineer took that code and deploy it on the web server. Deploy it on the web server, and there is a gap between a gap between a development team and operations team, guys. So what developers are saying, 1 second, guys. Yeah, so in the waterfall model, everything will be sequentially analyze, plan, or design, build, test, deploy. So it will take 6 months to produce the application. So there there is a gap between. After that, something like agile methodology comes into the picture, and the agile methodology is it's a it's a iteration based, and it's a agile methodology is something like, once agile methodology comes into the picture, the DevOps comes into the picture, guys. In here, analysis, plan, design, build, test, deploy. So there is a iterations in between the design, build, and test. So what is the limitations of the waterfall model? So high amounts of risk and uncertainty. No working software is produced until late during the life cycle. So once the application is at in testing stage, it is very difficult to go back and change something that was not well throughout in the concept stage. So there are not a good model for the complex and object-oriented programs, and not suitable for the projects where the requirements are at moderate to risk the changing, guys. These are the limitations of the waterfall model. So then some agile methodology comes into the picture, guys. So what is agile methodology? In the agile methodology, each project is broken up into several iterations. All the iterations should be the same time duration between the 2 to 8 weeks. So it will take, in the agile methodology, it will take 2 to 8 weeks to produce a software or application. At the end of the each iteration, a working product should be delivered, guys. So for example, chat, contact. In the first iteration, second iteration, and third iteration. So if you are facing any issues or any bugs in the iterations, it will be resolving easily, guys. So for that purpose, agile methodology comes into a picture, and it's a sprint-based model, guys. Every 15 days, so it will produce a new feature in the application, guys. Yeah. So limitations of agile. So in the agile methodology, so development team, code works in fine. Code works in my laptop or a development environment, guys. So what development team is looking wants a change, and the operations team. So there is some problem with the code, and it does not work in the production environment. So here, operations team want a stability, and the development team wants a change. So there is a big gap in between the development team and operations team. So then a DevOps comes into the picture, guys. Then a DevOps comes into the picture. The solution is called as a DevOps. So what is DevOps, guys? What is a DevOps? So DevOps is a so what is a DevOps, guys? So what is a DevOps? DevOps is not a tool. It's a it is a methodology, guys. It is a methodology or a culture. It is a methodology or a culture. The development team and operations team. So what is DevOps, guys? DevOps is not a tool. A DevOps is a culture, or a DevOps is a methodology So the operations team and the development team and operations team work together and automate the process is nothing but a DevOps, guys. Guys, now what is DevOps? So DevOps is not a DevOps is not a tool, it's a methodology or a culture. So we can use the development team and operations team work together and automate the process. So which process we want to automate? The deployment process, guys. The deployment process. Which process we want to? The deployment process. The integration, right? Here the in the build stage, developers develop the code and build the code. After that, operations team took that code and deploy it in the production environment. So here everything will be manually. Here everything will be manually. I want to automate this process, the deployment process. Now you understood, right? Integration, integration and deployment. So I want to automate this integration and deployment process, guys. So that is nothing but a DevOps. So how we can automate this process? So we can use the development tools. So we have a development tools: Git, Maven, Gradle, and so these are the development, the few of the development tools and the operations tools, guys. So we can use both the development tools and operations tools and automate the process of a integration and deployment. So in the waterfall methodology, there is no CI/CD, guys. In the after agile methodology, after DevOps comes the CI/CD. So the CI/CD comes into the picture. The CI/CD comes into the picture. So before there is no CI/CD. This is a integration and a deployment. Integration and deployment only. So after agile methodology comes into the picture, the CI/CD. So what is the CI/CD, guys? Continuous integration. Continuous integration and continuous deployment, guys. What is that? So continuous integration and continuous deployments. What is CI/CD? So CI/CD is nothing but a continuous integration and continuous deployment. Continuous deployment. So which tool we are using for this CI/CD? So Jenkins is the, so we are using the Jenkins CI/CD tool for the CI/CD. Which tool, guys? We are using a Jenkins CI/CD. So Jenkins CI/CD. So what it is? Continuous integration and continuous deployment. So before we are in the waterfall model, we are using only the waterfall model. So we are using in the waterfall model, we are using the only integration and the waterfall model. So we are using only the integration and the deployment. This is the a manual process. So this is a manual process of deployment and integration and deployment, manual process. So after agile methodology comes into the picture, so there is a DevOps comes into the picture, guys. There is a DevOps so comes into the a picture. So for example, this is the agile methodology. What it is? So it is a agile methodology. So in the agile methodology, so there is a DevOps comes into the picture. DevOps so comes into the a picture. So this is the automation. So how we can automate this integration and deployment? So how we can automate this integration and deployments? So you can use the sum of the tools, continuous integration and continuous deployment tools, CI/CD tools, and we can automate the process. So we can how we can automate the process? Something like we can use so Jenkins is the open source CI/CD tool. So Jenkins is the open source CI/CD tool, and we can use this tool and so we can automate the process of, so we can automate the integration and deployment. So what are the tools? For example, we can use the, I will show you guys. Yeah, so Jenkins is the CI/CD tool. So we can use this CI/CD and we can automate the process. In the CI part, guys, continuous integration part. So plan, code, build, test. So in the CI part, plan, code, build, test. In the plan, code, build, test, we can use the Git, Jira, Maven, Ant, Gradle, SE, the JUnit. We can use these tools, and so we can integrate in the Jenkins. Jenkins is the open source, guys. So we can integrate in this Jenkins, and it automatically build the code. Once we build the code, so we will deploy it, and we will operate it, and we will monitor it. So how we can deploy, guys? So we can use some of the tools, Docker. So we can use the Docker, Ansible, Chef, Puppet. So we can use these tools, and we can deploy into. So we can deploy that Dart jar where into the environment. So how we can operate, guys? So we can operate by using the some of the tools, Ansible, SaltStack, Chef, and we can deploy it, guys, and monitor. How we can monitor the applications as well as servers also. How we can monitor it? We can use the uh, few of the tools like ELK, Nagio, Splunk. So we can use these tools, and so we can monitor the logs, and we can monitor the servers. So this is nothing but a DevOps, guys. So the stages of the DevOps. So source code management and continuous build, continuous testing, and configuration. So configuration management and containerization. So the tools. So first version control, then continuous integration, then continuous delivery, then continuous deployment. So source control or a version control, source code management means our code. So that Git is the source code management tool. It will, yeah, so whatever the developers develop that code, push it to the version control, for example Git. So once the developer is developed the code, then in the continuous integration, what it can do, so in the compile the code, validate the code review, unit testing, and integration testing it will do, guys. In the continuous delivery, deploying the build application to the test servers, performing in the UAT. So this is the continuous testing, guys. So once continuous testing is done, once the QA sign off the application, then we will promote it to the higher environments like a production environment. In the continuous deployment, deploying the tested application on the prod server for the release. The configuration management and containerization. So we can use this. So this containerization configuration management, we can use this and deploy it in the production environment, guys. And the continuous monitoring, how we can monitor the application logs and the servers, everything will be in the continuous monitoring, guys. So the source code management, so Git is for using the source code management, and the continuous integration part, CI part, guys. In the Jenkins is providing the CI/CD tools. For example, this is the CI, guys, continuous integration. So whatever developer developing this code and commit it to the repository, commit a code to the shared repository. In the shared repository, so once the developer develop that code and push it to the Git repository, it automatically the Jenkins, these all are the plugins, guys. These all are the plugins. So once you install the Jenkins, you can install the plugins and automate the process. For example, CI, guys, how it will be automate. So the Jenkins already configured the Git and Git plugins, GitHub plugins. Once you once pushed the code to the Git repository, automatically Jenkins server automatically took that code and build the code. How it will be building? First, it will be compiling and code review, unit testing, and integration testing. Finally, it will be converting to the package a var or jar, guys. So this is nothing but a integration part. This is nothing but a continuous integration part. In the continuous deployment, so once we integrate we build the package dot var or jar, so it automatically Jenkins server create another pipeline. It automatically deploy to the, so deploy the build application on the test server UAT or in the production servers, guys. So this is nothing but a continuous delivery. So this is nothing but a continuous delivery, guys. Guys, now you understood a CI CD. So this is nothing but a CI. So this is nothing but a CD, guys. So we can both. So we can automatically, whenever the code is deployed on the from the developer side, it automatically Jenkins server it automatically took from the GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket and build that code by using the Sonar Cube for the So code compile and Maven for the building the package and unit testing and everything. Testing. So J unit is for the unit testing. So we can use this code and once the build the package are where it will deploy it on the production environment or the environment. So this is nothing but a CI/CD, guys. So continuous integration and continuous deployment. Once the agile methodology comes into the picture, the DevOps comes into the picture, the deployment will be within 2 to 8 weeks. It will produce a new feature in the 2 to 8 weeks. And for example, WhatsApp, guys. So WhatsApp WhatsApp 1.0 jar or var is only for the chat and contacts, guys. Chat and contacts only, right? Contacts. Uh, they introduced another feature called as a WhatsApp 2.0 jar. So they introduced a feature called so they have a already chat and contacts. They introduced a feature called as a status, guys. So in the 2.0, they introduced a called as a status. WhatsApp, for example, guys, only these are the for example dot jar. So they introduced they introduced another feature called as a chat contacts and status and the and voice calling. So in the 3.0 4.0, this is nothing but a versioning, guys. The version control system, right? We already discussed about the version control system. So git is the version control system. So source code management tool and the version control system, something like the versions, guys. So if you release as a new feature and it is a new version called new version comes into the picture, guys. So WhatsApp, so a Git is a version control system. So what is that? So Git is the a version control system, guys. Version control a system. And so how we can build the infra, guys? How we can build the infra? So for example, this is the cloud. So in the AWS, how we can build the infra? Build the infra by using the Terraform, guys. By using the Terraform IOC tools, and we can build the infra. So before the infra will build so manually. Nowadays, how we can build the infra? You can build the infra through automation. So once the DevOps comes into the picture, everything will be automated. Everything will be automated. So this is nothing but a DevOps, guys. So this is nothing but a DevOps. Guys, you understood, right? For this purpose, we're using the Ansible containerization. So on monitoring containerization, how our applications. So yeah, guys, I will tell you one thing. So AWS services, I will already told you, right? We will discuss about a few basic AWS services, and we will discuss about the Terraform. We will discuss about the Ansible. We will discuss about the Docker. We will discuss about the Kubernetes. We will discuss about Git, Kubernetes, Ansible, so the Docker, and we will discuss about the Kubernetes also and Jenkins also. We will discuss about all these tools, guys. We will discuss about all these tools in this course, guys. In this course, yeah. So does anyone having any doubts? Guys, any doubts? Guys, Chaitu, Rajesh,
No.
Vijay, Yashwant. So, are you clear about what is DevOps and why DevOps, right, guys? And what are the course content we will be cover on this course?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, guys. Yeah. So this is nothing but a DevOps. What is DevOps? Why DevOps? And so what are the tools we can use for the automate the integration and deployment tools, guys? Integration and deployment. Is understood?
Yeah, good, bro.
Yeah, guys. So we will cover each and every tool, guys. We will cover each and every tool. And so before going to cover that tool, for example, Git. So before Git, so what is the version control system they are using? So what is the drawbacks of the version before Git, and what is the advantage of the Git? So same like as a Ansible. What is the disadvantage of the Puppet and Chef, and what is the advantage of the Ansible and Docker also? So what is the disadvantage of the VM containerization? So Docker is a containerization. So before virtualization, then before a physical environment. So what is the drawback of the DCs, and what is the advantage of the AWS cloud? Any cloud, guys. So any cloud. So we'll discuss about the cloud and the Linux and the DevOps tool, guys. Guys, understood?
Yeah, okay, bro.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.